And of course, ban Draven, ban Olaf. Right? That's
you need to do it.
You have to do it.
Your versus Domino, it's not even like a blue side thing. I think that just champions need to be taken off the board. But I love that you are highlighting bot lane, because whilst I think the mid jungle 2v2, especially for Nord, has been an indicator of their success, I feel like the guy doing a lot of the damage is actually this rookie ADC in Hido. He's had a couple of moments where he's overstepped, gone a little bit too far, and been caught out and been the reason that they have maybe fallen down in a few of these games. But fundamentally, he's a guy that puts himself in a position where he wants to do as much damage as possible.
So two things. One, blue side, they're going for the bans that you basically have to do. And second thing is Domino's logo is all letters.
No shot. No, it isn't.
It is. You can see the D, you can see the M, you can see the O, you can see the N.
Where's the M?
It's combined.
Oh, that's the whole thing combined. Oh my word! Right, If you come out and say that Nord is like the letters of their name, that's gonna.
Nah, I didn't see
that's a bird, bruh. 100%.
Well, I mean, I can see the N on Nord, but I can't see anything else.
Why are there so many like N's in like team letter names and stuff? Just a very versatile letter.
N's.
Melio? Well, it's just, I suppose they're called Nord, right? It makes sense that their logo is in the shape.
Nord, native, unique.
Unique, yes.
Verdant, veneer. It's very Nordic.
Good letter. Very Nordic. Very, very Nordic.
Okay, this is the same trade as last game.
Yeah, it's looking very, very similar. This didn't work for Unique in the previous game. 2X's, not quite Liam Cole on the Aphelios, though, I will say.
Yep, but both Maokai and Vi are up, and I think the decision about which one Nord decides to go for will say a lot. I think they should go for the Maokai. Maokai at least has some kind of range control against the Aphelios, whereas Vi can only go all in. And they're not falling for the Lucian trick, because if they go for Lucian, either Vi or Maokai point and click will be available for their opponents, so instead picking the Xayah, the much safer one, especially if the enemy's thinking about going Vi, because then you just press R, make yourself untargetable. Domino is genuinely just, they are all in there. And now they're going for the Maokai. That is the one that we expect them to do. That's definitely a lot better than the alternative. But now the question is, right, does Oman get something he's comfortable on in terms of like a Yasuo, in terms of like a Yone, maybe a Jace? Jace plus Maokai is the real classic, and that's what Domino have to think about now. I personally would think about doing the Wukong before doing the Vi here because of the untargetable nature of the Xayah, and Nord could just try to go all in to counter the Vi in that regard. So you have to consider this when you're deciding. Vi just very powerful in their own right. This to me would set up an Ahri later. They're going for Lee Sin. Interesting. Heavy skirmish, heavy damage, snowballs really well. The one like even Bo looks good on this champion. Like a very, very strong pick in the right hands.
Yeah, and I mean, Shackle's hands have looked like the right hands. There have been a couple times where this guy just finds flank engages. That's one of his real skills as a jungler, is being in the enemy jungle before a team fight when you don't want them to be. And Lee Sin, I think there are very few champions that can take advantage of a flank in the way that a Lee Sin can. That kick, you isolate the AD carry, you completely ruin their day. And hey, we're talking about Nord Hido doing a lot of the damage. If he's off the board, it's kind of just Omen at that point.
Yep, I definitely agree with the Jace. The Maokai is able to just set up and wedge for that Jace really easily, and obviously AD plus AP makes it very, very difficult for the enemy to itemize something like the Tabbies, which they would want to do into the Jace. The Poppy ban, I mean, you do have double dash right now, and it also somewhat indicates what Dominoes are thinking of doing for the next pick. None of the bans have been levied at mid lane so far, right? The mid lane bans are all exclusive in the first phase. Arya hasn't been banned, etc. They're just trying to remove possible Milio counters, both of which are displacement, knock-up heavy things. But the Yuumi is up, the Lulu is up. Very, very powerful champions to pair with an Aphelios are up. Things that Milio can't cleanse. You're instead just matching the Milio enchanter with another enchanter and saying our combination is stronger than yours, and that may well be true. And now they're open for a counter pick on that mid lane.
Yeah, and I think that's just really key for Clover 7, because whilst he's had issues in laning phases, I think when he's been on his picks in mid-game, his skirmishing has been fantastic. Domino, they didn't I wouldn't say they were close to beating Verdant last week, but Clover was a constant thorn in their side on the Kiana, and we know that he's got these weird picks that can just completely throw a team if you're not necessarily expecting them. The Azir feels a little bit out of place here, honestly, for Omen. Traditionally, we do see him going for these stuff like the Ari, even assassin picks that want to be going forward. This is very, very reserved coming through from Nord.
Yeah, range team fighting, but also like itemization still becomes easier from this. There's a lot of magic damage out on that team.
Yep.
If Hido gets shut out of the game, it can be very hard. But there is something here, right? When we think about Domino, we think about Snubby making plays on mid, we think about Snubby making plays on top. And Azir, as we saw in the last game, is one of the hardest champions to make a play into. That Sion on the top lane, also a very difficult one. Syndra, nice, very long range engage, long range burst, a lot of scaling that you're able to have with that. That gives them some level of control. And it's also a very difficult champion to dive, and given that you might be under pressure early on, you do want to think about an undivable champion. Other options they would have would be in the artillery mage realm, like for example Xerath Vel'Koz, etc., but none of them want to play in towards the Sion. Sion is the champion that has a fairly good time here. If he's able to survive the Cassante, it's difficult for both these low mobility carries on the side of Domino to play into him. So eyes on Kakos there, eyes on the plays he could make. Otherwise, Nord, they have a composition that has range advantage. They want to let the enemy CC them down, make that up. And Domino, they're all inning on this Lulu Aphelios combination, right? Maybe they can tank HP to close the range with them. They're all inning on this Syndra long range engage. Maybe she can get a heavy long range burst on them if they ever picks out a place. And Lee Sin, the big playmaker, they're heavy all inning on him. They want skirmishes with that bad boy. They're definitely going to try to force something early on, and then that Lee Sin's just going to have to try to make the plays to be useful late.
I mean, if we're talking about skirmishing, I look at this entire top side from Domino, I think this is just, this is horrible to play against, right? Because the Sion, whilst he's got wave clear, like, you're not looking at massive amounts of priority in terms of the fights from Nord's top side here. I think you've got champions that kind of just want to clear the waves and wait for late game.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the Sion just wants to make really big engages onto the low mobility carries, knock them up, start a combo with that, right? Azir goes in with QE, maybe R's them out even. You have a way here to isolate and pin them down off of that initial Sion engage. So I think that's what they ultimately want to play for. It is a non-traditional composition. I think the biggest strength that the Sion Azir have is that it's difficult for Snubby to be impactful this game, because he loves to make plays on these lanes, and these lanes are basically ungankable.
Well, Nord looking like they're going to be making a play at the level 1. There's a 5-stack there checking on to Spooder, but Domino top laner gets out without having to do anything untoward, and Domino actually going to respond with a little bit of vision in the bot side jungle, but not too much.
Yeah, I mean, they're unlikely to get anything big on bot side there. They don't have a good level 1 composition, whereas the enemy, with that Sion stacking, right, they do have a pretty good early level composition there. So top lane, gonna be a bit of a Godzilla fight. Gonna take a bit. Ooh, a player fact. Omen started playing League of Legends when he was 7 years old. His favorite champion in the main.
Hold on. I don't think 7 is old enough to play League of Legends if we're going by the PEGI and the ESRB ratings and all that such. So,
wow.
Omen there, admitting to breaking the law. Yeah, live on the NLC. That's disgusting. First example of law breaking in esports ever, confirmed by Omen there, live on the NLC broadcast. Really shocking stuff to see. Bot lane.
League of Legends was like released when I was like 17, 18.
No, veteran, I can't have these conversations because every time I think about it, I'm like, I have spent so much of my life playing League of Legends, enjoying League of Legends. Spooder getting the level 2, jumping on to catch Goss, and whilst he can have a bit of playmaking potential here on the Cassante, Sun's just there, like we're saying. You clear waves, you walk away, you don't care.
Yep, Q on the wave.
Like we said, the allegations against Omen. Allegations, purely allegations. No. This guy started playing League of Legends, I don't know, when he was 28 years old.
Who knows? Yep, something like that. Appropriate, age appropriate.
Potential top lane gank here, actually, if Shackle wants to go for catch costs. Sun has just used that W, so maybe an angle here.
I think he's just ultimately going to escort it. Like, Spuda could maybe try to auto with Lee Sin there, but this doesn't look like a HP where Lee Sin's going to have the burst necessary to get a play off. Though, if Kakos moves up like this, you could see a big play. Nah. You're not going to see that damage from the full charge Q, though.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting hit by one of those under the tower. Both top laners trading grass pox. While Shackle was doing that, Indecision has managed to clear most of his bottom side jungle and is making his way towards the enemy blue buff. Domino here, recognize that there's a potential for this action to go down. Rotate over to protect Shackle's blue. Indecision isn't going to be able to walk in.
Yep, I mean, early lane priority against an Aphelios. It's almost always going to be a thing. Champion just not a champion on the first wave, so you should be able to get this. See a very standard just play for Scuttle here. They don't play full on for an invade because the bot wave was not so adequately slow pushed that Domino would lose something if they were to match. Saying no to that skirmish is at least an after all. All's fine. Yeah. Very static early game so far. I'd say that if that favoured either team, it would be Nord, but it's not like Dominoes have no avenues to win fights later on. Honestly, this is going to be in contrast to the Ruddy game, where people were trying to find forces all the time and people just barely living on 1 HP. This game, you're unlikely to see that many forces happen in the early phase of the game. A lot of this is going to be decided around those neutral objectives. Not quite sure how they force here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the plan here, guys.
It's Melio, so I think just there to make sure that Domino can't get the full reset out, I guess. So Hilo and Seneca gonna rejoin onto the wave, and they're gonna try and push that one out, and then 2X's and Snabi are gonna try and push it out themselves. It's just the way the bot lane works. I like what you're talking about in terms of the late game, though, because I think my brain has been trained through years of professional Syndra play to look at this champion and go, okay, you need to win the game before 20 minutes. But because of that rework a few patches back, really not the case anymore. And if she's going scaling 1-for-1 with an Azir in a late game team fight, I'm very, very happy.
Yep, scaling Stack Brother now. Syndra goes phenomenally well later in towards the game. She's no longer that insane lane bully that she used to be. Her CC is still a big deal though, right? Yeah. As a mage, she's very good at setting up 4 junglers still early on. So there are champions that just don't want to play into her, like for example Aurelion Sol. So it's not like she has zero threat early. It's just that her identity is no longer as this unbeatable early bully that takes over the entire map. She is now a full scaling, assassinating, or one-shotting person. One Drake will go over towards Domino. That's good, because they are somewhat worried when they see the Maokai Vili that the Maokai is going to just be easier to pilot at those stages and that they have ways to prevent the Juggernaut composition going out. So they're happy to try to, like, delay a potential soul for the enemy if the enemy indeed wins that first skirmish. Because if the enemy wins the first team fight, then Domino do have the split avenue to win the game.
It's like, once Maokai hits 6, if that ultimate around the objective is well placed, well timed, it's basically just going, no, you can't fight the dragon right now. You've got to leave the river, you've got to give up all your pressure, and we can take that one away. And when we're talking about how strong the scaling is for both these teams, an early Drake prevents that from being a win condition that your opponents can play towards as we get a little bit later. And I'm intrigued that we're not really seeing too many massive laning advantages coming out here, Veteran. No lane really feels like it's getting ahead of another. Is that what you expected looking at the drafts?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a slow game until we get to the neutral point, right? Shackle, Snabby, they want to force, but it's a Scion, right? They're trying to force into here.
Ooh, wow.
Block the Unstoppable.
Yeah. Still not going to kill him. But it looks very, very cool. Flash down on catch cost as well, so maybe potential for your options when we are getting into the skirmishes. But it is intriguing how much time Shackle has spent towards the top side of the map. He's not really played towards Clover 7 as much.
Yeah, I mean, Clover 7's not going to have an avenue open because the Azir is just going to be ungankable for a while. Domino's bot lane, that is potentially another place that you could work around, but you're really waiting until 6 before that becomes a big deal. He still needs to get through some rotations for his really useful guns at every single point. On the super early levels, there's potentially a cheese route, but you'd rather try to get your Cassante ahead. Everything is kind of like, we're kind of like in a different realm. Oh no, we're back. Oh no, we aren't. Nope. Okay. I really hope that like this is coming off on the broadcast, or it just sounds weird from us.
It's just, I'm pretty sure this is an issue. It's going to resolve itself in short order. I think I had this with Rue the other week. Might have done. But yeah,
It happens. It happens. But yeah, like it's
fine.
a very ungankable set of lanes from Nord. And it is a set of lanes from Domino's that would prefer to get ganks, but not going to be able to.
Clover 7 shuffle back. Indecision there as well with Seneca to first blood for Omen. Swiftly executed, cleanly executed in the mid lane.
Yeah, nice displacement there by Omen. Leads to the first kill. Domino's, they weren't able to make a play on any of these lanes, but Nord, the moment that they want to do so, they're able to get it. No summoners were burned by Omen before that fight. He had everything up. He had full confidence in his ability to get Clover 7 down. And Clover, he wasn't being escorted by Shackled. He's being escorted by Snarby. But Snarby is on an Enchanter match, not on something like the Nautilus that he normally plays.
Nord did start up this Rift Herald, but Domino have been able to muscle their way in there. They're going to look to take this one away. Shackle grabs that one. So hopefully going to be able to grab a little bit more gold for his team, because that is starting to go in favour of Nord. Hido's picked up a couple of plates now on the bottom lane.
Yep. Yeah, plates and a lot of solo gold and XP on those waves on bot. He was just abandoned for the entire time that the fight was happening, and Domino shifted their bot lane in towards mid. Very similar to, I think, how the first game went with Natives. Natives is a very similar swap, so I know they've been scrimming. But that ultimately swung the gold heavily in favour of Nord, not just off the kill, but also off the economy on bot lane. Syndra's going to catch it. Didn't have a TP to burn, so she does necessarily miss minions. And yeah, ultimately, a really nice economy state for Nord and Domino. They're the guys that wanted to find kills early. They haven't found it. Nord have. And Nord found it on that mid-jungle. This is the mid-jungle that we want to see performing if we want to see a Nord victory.
Yeah, and we've also got that additional gold for Hido that he collected in the bot lane. So kind of all of the boxes being ticked for Nord, all of the places that they needed to be strong, are looking strong, and they are looking for another play in the mid lane. This time, 2 axes. Going to be the potential victim. That Shurima shuffle not quite available for Omen just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet, and they don't seem to be that bothered about matching midsection. Azir, typically a really good part of a 1-1-3 setup where you just try to play hard for your AD carry on a side lane. He doesn't like to do that against full crit champions, but the Aphelios is nowhere near that stage yet where the Azir is going to feel heavily threatened by him.
I mean, 2 axes doesn't even have an item just yet. He's just sat on that Noon Quiver and a dagger. I'm assuming there's a fair bit of gold in the inventory, but Hido already has Kraken.
Yeah, and ultimately you have to fight for the Drake now if you want to fight at all. So getting a recall before this point, that's what you want to be doing. They're trying to get something for it though, right? Get the plates down on the mid tower, get the mid tower possibly to a point where you could maybe in the next rotation get it down. There goes most of the tower's HP. It's now below half health. They'll take that because they don't have the option to take anything else. Right? You can't fight on these kinds of items against the enemy's items. Kraken Slayer already out on the Xayah. Only Noon Quiver, like you were saying, out on the Aphelios. Now he gets a recall off as well. That's another thing that you trade for that Drake. The mid-tower priority into a reset, and he's now matching the Kraken.
Yeah, but you look at that, Hido is also taking a reset. So in the time that it's taken for 2 axes to go back to base, to pick up that Kraken Slayer and Longsword in inventory, Hido already feeling like he's in a position where he can back and grab some more items for himself. Seeing Clover 7 on this bot lane wave, he is just going to walk in and prevent the enemy Syndra from getting this wave shoved all the way under tower. But you are starting to see this discrepancy, this disparity between the AD carries come to fruition. Shackle once again in the top lane, making a play onto Catchgoss, and the Scion has no flash, no ult, has no way of getting out of there.
Yep, Domino finally finds something. They drag Snarby up. Snarby on an Enchanter, still not really acknowledging that his AD carry is something that exists. But that's what we really love about him, right?
Yeah, 2 axes does not love playing AD carry at the moment. Dive in the mid lane, mid-jungle duo working out.
Not sure 2 axes appreciates the lack of priority on him, but that is just life with Snarby. You knew what you signed up for when you signed the contract, I hope. And Snarby got an advantage onto Lee for it. But both carries now are down on Domino's. The Syndra has been killed once, the Aphelios has been killed once. When Nord get a kill, it's on a priority target. When Domino gets their 1 kill, it's just on whoever they can. And Kakos is not sat there thinking, I've died once on Scion, the game is truly over.
No. I think, honestly, to a certain extent, I've died once on Scion. I should be dying more on Scion, you know?
True.
Like, getting that passive form, get the fisticuffs out, but Nord looking a lot cleaner than I think they've done in weeks past, and considering that they're all sat together in a boot camp in the south of France, good for some, makes a little bit more sense. Once again, though, Domino are going to visit Catchcross in the top lane. The flash forward, double flashes invested from Domino to make sure the ultimate gets interrupted. So we're going to be doubling Catchcross's death. This one goes over to Spooder, and Domino have been able to equalize that gold lead, but so much of it is centered on this Lee Sin and the Cassante.
So this is the plan. Turn Cassante into the Twitch chat meme and just pray that Axis doesn't get dived on every single mid-wave.
He's going to get dived on every single mid-wave. Hido going to pick up his first kill of the game, and who'd be an AD carry veteran?
I'm not sure how I feel about this trade. I'm not sure how I feel about this strategy. I mean, Snarby's showing topside every time to get these kills, and it's great you're getting those kills, but the mid-tower is incredibly valuable, right? In terms of map setup. And your ADC is an incredibly valuable player in terms of getting anything done. Cassante is broken. I'm not sure he's that broken. I think maybe just tell Snarby that 2 Axes is your mid laner and not just mid, and maybe he'll stay around there. I think you, with the Aphelios being involved, you can't just completely abandon him like that.
Yeah, but because you look at Spooder this game, you go, okay, great, you're 1-0-1 on the Cassante. If you're going to want to get on top of Hido and Omen, who are the targets you realistically need to be killing in a fight, not only do you have to go through Catchcross and Indecision, but they've got Seneca behind them who's going to be buffing them up with the healing, the additional range, which the Azir is going to love too. And even if you do get onto the backline, you've got Emperor's Divide, and you've got the Feathers Fly from these 2 carries, so it's not even like when you find the access that you're guaranteed to get the kill.
There could be a thought process here that the 2 big carries are so vulnerable to that snowballing Azir that maybe you just need the Cassante to be up. Otherwise, any economy you get on these carries, it might just all vanish in one big Shurima shuffle from Omen. The strength of the composition Nord have is very powerful. Those low mobility carries we were saying during the Champion Select are very vulnerable, particularly to the Scion, but also definitely to the Azir, especially the Azir is on this kind of an early lead. I like the crown from him. Means he's going to play back until he gets his angle. When he gets his angle, he's going to go in, he's going to be able to tank more than he otherwise should, he's going to be able to get that shuffle down.
Yeah, if we look at mid lane, like, itemization difference right now, Clover 7 does not have his Mythic. Omen is already most of the way to his Nash's Tooth on the Azir, really flexing his prowess in the mid lane, as both teams, after fighting over the wave for a little bit, are going to head over towards the Herald once more. Domino, again, moving back, going into the mid lane, trying to get priority.
Yeah, I mean, they accept that they can't fight Nord's composition yet, so they are shifting from mid in towards bot, trying to find any kind of a trade, and they will meet the Infernal. That damage is going to be big, right? If they can get this down, I think that's huge for them. Yeah, I think you take this trade, because if the Herald's going to get taken, you're in a position where you're going to have to defend, where the enemy has the option to try to fight you, and now you have another potential way where you can fight back, like get these stats up. That's the name of the game. That's always been the name of the game in League of Legends. Infernal's a great way to do so.
Yeah, more AD, more AP, sounds good to me, right? If I'm 2 Axes, if I'm Clover 7, if I'm kind of anybody else, and hey, it builds you towards an Infernal Soul, and it's denied away from your opponent. Who would have known it? Taking dragons is good. I'm intrigued that we haven't really had much of a tower-taking game going on, though. We're barely 17 minutes in, all structures still remaining, and that means, veteran, that, first of all, can't push your Vision lines as further, but there's a lot of standing gold for a team to take if they're able to get a decisive fight now.
Yeah, there is a lot. Plates are down. Scion, you have to think, is the one that's going to be able to most easily take it. They are heavy side laning this Scion, and this might be why they put so much priority on putting the Cassante ahead. Because if Cassante is not matching, who will? Syndra can't match, Aphelios can't match, they're very vulnerable to the Scion for the reasons stated. The Cassante has to be the one that you put in towards the Scion lane, and if he's not able to 1v1 him, if he's not able to get a kill, then the map setups become nigh on impossible. And in that regard, it might make sense for Domino to approach the game as they have so far. Ooh.
Omen
No
has
way.
made the mistake of going top side.
way.
I mean, he's not a top
No way
laner,
this
but he
works.
is in top lane. He's got a crown. He's got that damage reduction. He's got the Shurima shuffle as well. Teleport is going to come through
Have to
from
end
Nord
this
as they are
play so
opting
fast.
into this. And Domino, they've taken way too long to kill Omen. He's going to survive there with a cozy campfire. Warms him up, keeps his health all tickety-boo. And Domino are ruining the day that they went top lane to try and kill a mid laner. Hido takes out Clover 7. Shackle drops into his grave as well. Nord Esports looking in control, looking very calm.
That's absolutely painful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you are trading 2 lanes for 1 while this is happening. The mid tower has been taken, the bot tower has been taken. Spooder was able to interrupt Kakos' TP, and that was big. They bounced off tier 2 on both mid and bot lane. There has been a pretty good share of economy for Dominoes for this. They're 5 and 2 down, but they're not exactly steamrolling behind. They're only basically... They are about 2k gold behind now with that tower taken, about 1k gold before that point. They're feeling fine about this. The map setup is actually pretty good for them irrespective, but my god, it must be painful to lose that kill.
Yeah, it really, really is. But like you're saying, they've got this mid lane tower down now, which is going to feel great, especially with the bot lane tower taken in tandem, and the fact they've got a couple Drakes, and the fact there's a Drake spawning soon. These are the towers that you kind of need to take if you want position around the bottom side pit.
Yeah, 2 minutes until that comes into play, but it is definitely worth noting. The Baron is up in 50 seconds, and that could be a potential play for Nord. They have Azir and Xayah, 2 of the best champions at just deleting a Baron fast. If you get picked off now, if anyone from Domino's gets picked off now, you have to think Nord are rushing straight for that Baron, and they're taking it in a matter of seconds.
And look at the inventories as well. Like, the 2 Nord carries straight up are an item ahead of their opposite numbers. And that's not a deficit that is easy to overcome, even if you're able to execute on your compositions, win conditions perfectly. I'm intrigued, though. Nords don't really seem to care about the Baron at the moment. It is all about this Drake.
It is going to be all about the Drake, but the game could turn on a hair's breadth. Every time Nord have approached this mid lane tower so far, they've got a kill.
A little bit over-aggressive. That's crown shielding.
That's a big ult down from the Maokai.
Yeah. And whilst Nord, they are able to get that mid lane tower, which I think is important that you do. Otherwise, it could be a bugbear. Just something that is held over you the entire game. Not able to get any kills off it. And still, with a minute to go until the Dragon, Domino, they're the ones getting the shove out on the maps as Nord are resetting.
Yeah, both teams happy to take that. I think Dominoes are happy for any kind of map state that does not result in the Azir and Xayah getting breathing room on top of that Baron pit. Aphelios is going to leave, but Spooder's going to stay. They know the risks of allowing Nord to enter this thing. Xayah reset was interrupted. She's recalling now. So Azir's on the map. The threat of the Baron being taken on their recalls is gone. And now Domino feels safe to recall, but that's going to cause them to be quite behind on the map. That Drake spawning in 20 seconds.
Yeah, Clover 7 going to be able to take out that top lane tower, get a little bit more gold for himself. Not been the best showing thus far on this intro. Kind of existed in mid lane twice and died twice for it. But if he's able to find an unleash power onto Hido, and the Xayah doesn't ult for some reason, you're still going to be able to provide value.
Dude, Clover 7's getting so much, actually. They're just trading away from their opponents over and over again, and then trying to find a pick on flanks, trying to get a catch out. And Nord are operating as this very tight unit, but because they operate as this very tight unit, we've never seen a 3-lane play from them. We've never seen them play the complete map, because they know that if they try to do so, suddenly Dominoes have the advantage in skirmishes. So it's a slowish game.
Oh, look at Shackle.
Right? Ooh, can you do this?
I don't know.
I feel
Domino
like Nord have really good engage, no?
starting it up. Shackle going for a flank, going for one of his patented Lee Sin kicks, but Nord going, hold on, 3 people around the Baron.
Way.
We might as well just engage on these guys. Roots coming
Malphite
through.
down is big.
Q missing. Shackle stepping further up. He's going to be able to find the kick onto Omen as he's going into everybody on the team. He's shut down. Clover7 on the flank as well, fighting a little bit with the scatter of the week. He goes into that Zhonya's. Hito having to burn his cooldowns as well as the Syndra dies in the pick. That's a little bit of a flank to back with Spuda flashing forward, getting a double knock up. Q providing some disengages. It's a shutdown for 2axes. Seneca on the run as well. Domino find a huge play around the Baron off the back of Shackle's kick.
Yeah, Shackle, so patient, spent so long trying to find that flank. Tried to find it in many fights before, but this was the one. And that Maokai ult being preemptively used by Indecision, it worked out again in their favor. We saw it happen mid, and we saw the threat that Domino had on them for it. And he really wants this guy. Yeah. We saw the threat that Domino had on them for it, where they had to back off. And here, Shackle and Clover7 were coming in from the other direction. Clover gave his life for it, but it was a worthy life to give.
Yeah.
I almost thought the fight could end up in Nord's favor because 2axes was stuck on green-purple, but it was a slow fight. No cooldowns were up on the side of Nord at all to do anything with that, and so it just became a very, very slow death. But ultimately, all 5 members of Nord, they did fall for that. No, 4 members of Nord fell for that. I apologize. I'm terrible at maths. I'm really good with finding letters and logos. You know, arithmetic, it's gone.
And the thing is, what, like they spend years teaching people maths at school. I have received no formal education, and I doubt you have either, for spotting letters in logos, and yet
no,
you're already incredible at it. So really, school doesn't work. Just do whatever you want.
True.
Domino now, with that gold lead, going to feel a little bit more confident, and their next maneuver over to the Baron could actually result in the objective going down. You still need to be scared, though, of the carries on the side of Nord. That was the first death for Omen and for Hito in that fight. The Zaya's now got 3 items, and the Azir is rapidly approaching their 3rd as well. So whilst Domino going to feel good, you can't take your foot off the accelerator yet.
Yeah, no, sir. I mean, Nord, if they just get straight front to back, that will still favor them. If you're able to get these flanks, if you're able to get skirmishes, that still favors you. This is the game. Right, Dominos need to make sure they don't get caught out here. Snabby, did you not listen to what I said?
Oh no, Snabby is in the process of getting caught out! Using the wild growth on himself, that is a big cooldown. That is a big cooldown when so much of the carry potential is on 2axes. Zabi going to be taking a reset now. Baron is on the table. This gives a window to Nord to start it up if they want.
Yeah, Kako's here being a very beefy, very tanky threat. They camped him, but he is a Scion, and he'll take that, right? As that Sunfire has the tabbies. Look how fast this Baron is going
Shackle
down.
on the side. It's going down. It's going down.
Ooh.
No steal coming out.
Nords
opt into the 50-50, and now they'll opt into the front to the back. They've already gotten a kill onto Spuda. They've got a double for their AD carry. 2axes kiting away. When the Aphelios gets out of there with the flash, with the Gale Force, but now Nord with the Baron at their backs. They've got the opportunity to push, maybe. They're going to take this first reset, though. They don't want Domino getting that next Drake. They're going to want to pick it up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, patient play by Domino, but then it only takes one link in the chain to go down for the entire thing to be worthless. And right there, Snabby gets caught. The rest of the team can't play that front to back. They can't get the good position that they need to get. It's impossible, and that Baron gets snuffed out in an instant. The threat that the Azir and the Zaya have over that Baron is insane.
Oh, Shackle pulling Indecision back into the rest of his team.
Isolating Indecision is another way to think about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have ult, so, you know, there's a thought process, somewhat.
There is a tree in the middle of my entire team. And he's being very angry, and he's hitting me very, very hard. For Nord, though, their bite looking worse than their bark right now as Dragon spawns. Shackle once again trying to engineer a flank. Clover7 also joining the fight. A potentially weird angle. Omen and Hito a little bit isolated here, but Omen's going to flash forward, and that's not how you use the Azir ult, buddy. Kicked in the head. Shackle punishes him for that. 1-for-1. Mid laner taken off the board. Spuda going all out, but Nord are actually fine to press onto the Cassante as Kachkos is an unmovable tank in the front line. Knocks up 2axes, but on the green-white can still fight before he gets shut down. Hito with his 8th kill of the game, and Nord will take the Drake.
Yeah, Paco's playing that fight really well, basically controls both of the carries on the enemy team completely solo. You figured from that initial Omon catch, basically flanking himself, that they might have a route there, but they did not. This Scion that you spent so much time gambling is still finding a way to be phenomenally useful, and the Xayah is now 8-1-1. That is a lot of damage. That is the one that you need to be taking down, not Omon. Hido, he's an absolute monster at this point.
I just love that, if you didn't see on the in the inventory. Hido sold the stopwatch so he can complete the Phantom Dancer. If that's not a more AD carry play, I don't know what is. But hey, when you've only died once this game, I think you absolutely take those odds.
Oh yeah, 100%. You take that every time. And Hido right now, though, he's the one that needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out in the flanks. It's no longer the case that Shackle just finds someone on the flank and they can win the fight. If Hido is alive, they have options.
And if Shackle gets caught, then Domino don't, right?
Yes.
He's burnt the kick, he's burnt the flash. Those are huge tools to not have on the board.
Yeah, he's not a Lulu, so he's not going to get fluffed out like that. It's a lot harder to catch a Lee Sin. Very slippery guy.
Yeah. Well, the most Season 13 of Season 3 champions.
The most Season 13 of Season 3 champions. My God, is he a Season 3 champ?
Right, he was definitely in the game before I played, but I don't feel like that's a beta kit, you know?
Yeah.
There's some like in between.
I don't remember. I know he's in the game when I began playing, and that was back in Season 3, and people were already doing montages, but I still feel like he was, like, way earlier than that. What the new champs?
Release
I still feel like Jinx is a new champ.
April 1st, 2011.
There you go.
No shot.
Season 1.
No shot. Oh, well, maybe most Season 13 of the Season 1 champions then, I guess. Nords are going to be pushing in the bottom lane. They don't have a Baron to help out this push, but they do have a Maokai ultimate, which is going to buy them a load of time. 50% HP taken off of this Tier 2. He needs to be careful that he's not getting caught out. Domino still have a fair bit of pit potential.
Oh, yep, they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kako's got healed by that bit of damage there from Shackle. And there is no, crucially, there is no angle to get on the back end of Hido, right?
Yeah.
If Shackle is able to get behind Hido, that would be the best case scenario. If Spood is able to get a one-shot on Hido here, that would be the best case scenario. Hido does have R.
Oh,
So try as you might.
It just feels futile, right? Like, Domino were pumping so many cooldowns into Nord there, and they're fine. I mean, you've done enough of Hido's HP bar to force him to back away, which is great, but honestly, with the Baron spawning in a minute, I don't feel like Nord are going to be upset taking this reset.
Yeah, Baron in 1 minute, Drake in 2 minutes. You're not seeing the angle here where in a front-to-back situation, Clover 7 just one-shots Hido, right? Best case scenario, and he gets that big full combo, Hido's definitely just pressing R on top of it, right? Like, it's a very difficult situation, and those examples there just make it seem even more futile because they're not going to be locked into place in front of your tower once it comes to lane states. You have to leave your tower, walk into this jungle, walk into these areas where you don't necessarily have full vision, have to try find things that way, right? Lee Sin here looks like he's trying to extend in case he could find an angle. He's not going to find one. That blue ward all the way top to the crevice there in case the Lee Sin was trying to flank that way. But no, bit clever than that. Eyes on Shackle, because if he's able to find a creative angle again, that would be a really good play. But again, front to back situation, just call it in favor of Nord already.
Well, that's how we anticipate the game shall go. Domino, it's up to them to flip the script on how this game ends. The Baron spawns and Nord are straight onto it. They have got so much DPS. Shackle can't even get into the pit in time. They're going to take the fight afterwards as well. Catchcross finding on with the unstoppable onslaught. Just a little bit of a joke there. A little bit of a misplaced ultimate, but Nord with the Baron at their backs. So much push potential. Domino looking for a hero play.
Who would win, one Wormy Boy or two of the best Wormy Boy killers in the game? It's gonna be the two Wormy Boy killers. Nord's immense threat on the Baron itself, coupled with their immense turn potential with that Scion, right, with that Maokai ultimate. It's a very difficult composition to allow to be first into the pits. You want to be able to attack this from multiple angles. Dominoes can't find them yet, Kakos is just not
He's just absorbing lots and lots of damage without taking it too much. Does need to be careful that he's not pushing the flamethrower onto people stood behind him.
This is the most damage that 2 Axes is going to do on this champ, and it's doing nothing.
This is very serious. Teams not quite necessarily positioned the same place. Shackle with a huge kick onto Omen, shut down the Azir. He's able to get that shuffle off in time, which means that Nord could take over the rest of the fight. 2X kicing backward here with the Aphelios. Getting to the red white gun. He's over to the green white, but the rest of his team is dying around him. Triple kill for Hino. Quadra kill for Hino. Feathers fly. 2X dies. Catch cost finishes him off. No pentakill, but Nord will take the ace, and they'll take a few parts of Domino's base.
Shackle says we ball, and 2 Axes lands every single auto, and they don't have enough damage. Omen just barely able to get his ultimate out at the end there for his death. Did get some critical parts of Domino down for it, but you have to think, you're hitting everything you have there in the straight 5-on-5, and it's not enough? My god, this is going to be soul as well for Nord. You have to think this is now a squarely Nord-favoured game.
Yeah, the amount of time that Crown of the Shattered Queen buys. Now you look at Hino's inventory and he's got a GA, right? Stopwatch for Omen 2. The key carries, the guys that you need to kill if you're on Domino Esports, are looking very, very H2K at the moment, veteran.
Very H2... Wait.
That's what
how...
That's what it stood for.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if we ever ended up changing the name to just H2K, but yeah. I was on it, but it was that was 7 years ago.
That was a while back. 7 years, the same age that Omen was when he started playing League of Legends. Allegedly, we've come full circle. As
I was at least a full Omen. I was more than that when I joined H2K. I was more than a full Omen when I joined H2K. It's actually like 8 years. Yeah. That's
crazy. I was going to say, it was like a full Omen. Hold on, you were 8 years old when you were coaching H2K.
It was more than an Omen ago, you know.
Look there on the minimap. Shackle trying to find another flank. Omen so invested in preventing that from happening, he has actually used the Emperor's Divide. Shackle going to get over the wall, comes straight back to his doom. Yeah, you don't win the 1v1 versus the Azir at this point, buddy, and it's like you've been saying, kind of for the last 10 minutes, Nord in a position where they should be able to close it out from here.
Yeah, I mean, they had a fortress composition in the early game, and then in the late game, they did give up an angle on Domino's twice, but that was it. That was all that they gave. The rest of the game, they just played tightly as a unit, maintained that fortress as much as they could, and Domino's, they just couldn't reach it. And it felt a lot of times they didn't even have the damage to reach it. This play to get the Cassante ahead, to try to maintain map states that way, that didn't really work out so well. The play that they made on top lane, sure, Cassante kept Sion on bot, but that ultimately didn't matter. And then when the Sion starts grouping in this 5-man, my god, I think you'd rather have that guy on your team, for sure. This being a completely unkillable lumberjack here from Kakos, able to very easily control those low mobility carries you have. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight, unpenetrable unit that Nord have here, and Domino's are failing to split it up.
Would benefit from an axe as big as a Silence, honestly, right? We're talking about splitting up compositions. But you can see there, like, the value that Shackle provides to Domino, as soon as he's taken off the board, you're like, right, we can go in, we can take mid in here, bot lane in here, we can really blow that open. This guy's flanks are still something that Nord are scared of, despite the lead, despite the Infernal Soul, despite how certain this game is looking.
Yeah, I mean, they know that Domino need to play towards their namesake. If Domino are able to isolate one of them, find one of them, my god. I mean, like, they're covering all their flanks. Shackle can't find anything. Shackle can't find anything. And so long as they maintain things that way, it's easy, right? And it's only a matter of time here. Because the bot wave, the mid wave, they're all shoving in solo. Nord don't have to care about that. They are playing all 3 lanes while retaining that tight unit that Domino can't possibly 5-on-5.
It's recognizing your loss conditions, right? And just going to the enemy, no, we're not going to let you activate these. If the only way that you win a team fight is crazy flanks from Clover 7 and Shackle, we are not going to offer you those. We're not going to necessarily go to the objective and give you those fights. No, we're just going to use the pressure that we've got in these lanes, retreat back once we've already got all of those advantages, and you can't do a damn thing.
And not a damn thing is being done right now. Actually, that's another way to look at Domino's, like, 3 letters, right? There.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, I really wish that I wasn't down an Infernal Soul and I wasn't playing against a level 18 Azir. They could do the Baron from the other side of the pit with absolute ease.
12 and 2, Zaya.
Damn.
Probably the biggest problem right now.
Hey, well, yeah.
Bounty.
Lovely stuff. Not something that you'd screen opening a celebrations tub, but absolutely the only thing that Domino can celebrate at the moment as Nord move on to the top inhib tower, top inhib down. Super minions aplenty, going to be running into the Domino base, but they're not going to have time to see them all. Nature's Grass throw down. Nexus Tower is going to be the focus for the time being. The defense being mounted. 2 axes firing out some damage onto Cat's, but you just can't burn through the health bar on this Scion.
Yeah, I mean, once you take the Scion down, you now have to try to take down the Maokai as well. It's a double front line here. Indecision doesn't have the Maokai ult up, but Omen does have his ult up.
Nexus Tower's off the board. Last defense going to come through. Moonlight Vigil onto multiple members, but Nord too strong at this point. Hito dropping low. Cloman actually falling down as well. Nexus is just the thing that you need to finish off, guys, and Nord will do it. In 39 minutes, they will take